Welcome to another edition, episode, whatever you want to call it, Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and I know that you're happy to see me on another Monday, and I hope you enjoyed the last show. Sounds like you did. We have a lot of exciting things to present to you in this show. Not only a lot of items that you've never seen before, but we also are going to feature some rocks and minerals. You haven't seen too many of those in the last few weeks, but I can tell some of you like the higher end jewelry and jewelry in general. Others of you still like those rocks and minerals. So we're going to blend it up, and you never know what you might want to find. And I did look at the other estate shows that a lot of the items, my other items that you had gotten first dibs in, were in some other shows, and some of the items, the prices were such a good value that Sam bought them outright. So yeah, so that's just what kind of opportunity they were. Now let's get to the comments, because we have it all. We have the comments, we have trivia, we have a show. Now, again, apologizing for the past several weeks of a schedule that was kind of hit or miss. So hopefully we'll get it on track and keep it on track for you. I am without the Raven here today. She's not even next door, so I feel like my wings have been clipped while she is out still able to soar. As a matter of fact, our neighbor, for a birthday present to her, which her birthday is in March, is just a really wonderful person, and is taking her to have her hair done. And so she's real, I think it's just a wonderful thing to do for her, and something that she wouldn't have done for herself. And just between you and I felt so terrible for her. You know, she had that horrible illness over the summer that she almost died from, and it ended up to be Legionnaire's disease. I don't know if I'd actually told you that before. I think I told you that she had pneumonia in both lungs, but I hadn't really said that much about exactly what it was to that many people. We had to let a little time pass and see if there was any other people that might have come down with that. So it's very rare, and it took them 4 days before they could even figure out to treat her for it, because they kept testing her for COVID, and it was not COVID. So, you know, I think I told you some of the stories about how she was so low in oxygen. I still have the scratches in our TV, and I joke with her about it all the time. Because I tell her what a reminder it is, as she was stepping backwards and I could not catch her, and she hit the credenza that's across from our master bed. And on that credenza is not only the TV, but some of our really neat, nice, cool specimens. Now, some of our very best, and some of the ones she most treasures are on the solid stone fireplace mantle, which is something you just can't even bump against, you know, earthquake proof. So maybe you shouldn't mention earthquake this week, but a safe place. So when she went backwards and hit that, I shouldn't laugh, hit the credenza, as I was trying to save her, at the same time she hit the credenza, the TV started coming down on her, and I kept the TV from hitting her, but the TV hit her really world-class specimen of Thunder Bay, Ontario, amethyst with incredible hematite inclusions, and I had given that to her as a gift for a birthday. And so those amethyst crystals didn't hurt the specimen, but they sure put some nice scratches in the TV screen. And then the other thing it hit, which of course didn't harm the specimen, but we have next to it, just to let you know what we have kind of there, what we consider a value is, of course, one of her favorite alternate names for a really unusual named specimen. Now, I ought to stop there and say, what is that specimen? What is the most unusual alternate name given to a very unusually named and rare mineral specimen, and see if you get what it is. And I bet a lot of you would say, Scooby-Doo, right? Yes. She knocked over. I should bring it in just to show you. Out of all the Scooterudite, which is the proper name of it, named after a class locality in Norway, I believe Scooterud is, and it is really, really nice. The only other specimen I know that's close to it is one I think that Miss Gabby has. We bought the entire lot of them at the time, and really by way of value, I wish I had every one of them back. I went to just price some crude crystal formation Scooterudite, and wow, those specimens have gone so far up in value that, and I'm talking about in the last 10 years. And so, you know, when I think about, and of course I should put the little disclaimer, as far as, you know, not recommending that any mineral specimen is ever to be thought of as an investment or blah, blah, blah. But for us, our investment in specimens over the years has been a really good one, far, far exceeding any return in the stock market or any place else you could put the money. And, you know, my thought about that when I was a busboy at Walt's Fish Market in Sarasota, Florida, after I sold my stone cutting equipment that I was making good money at as a teen, I'm talking about 14, 15, 16, and so I sold my equipment and ended up working and coming home smelling like dead fish every night, and after slogging some of the hardest work I've ever done being a busboy, and I said to myself, now, you can do this, or you could have, with all your equipment, had such doing what you love and making far better money. So luckily, my friends who saw what they thought was a golden goose when they saw me and the money I was making from this equipment, and well, what happened, remember, I got that kiss from that newspaper article, and then that led to girls. Oh yeah, girls were my downfall. And so I thought that I better make a steady paycheck, and sold my equipment. Well, luckily, they weren't very good at first stone cutting. Secondly, they just didn't have the zeal to do it. So I was able to buy back my equipment less than what I sold it to them for, quit the job at the fish market, and actually ended up getting a job at a jewelry store. So it was the first and last time I ever strayed from my hobby and from my path in life, which was to cut stones, prospect, you know, do everything from find the gemstone and find the metal in the stream, or at least have the knowledge to know how to do it, to mastering the gold and silver smithing end of it, mastering the lapidary gem cutting end of it, and be able to put it all together. And I loved it, and that's what I focused back on, and never had to work a conventional job outside of my hobby / career past the age of 16. So I worked at the Walt's Fish Market in Sarasota at the age of 15 and 16, and so it was a stupid thing that I did, but it taught me a lot. It taught me that, you know, I had found my passion, and just to stick with it and see where it will take me. And it really took me to all heights, and with parents that supported me behind it. It was a great trip. Even you know, as the Grateful Dead would say, what a long, strange trip it's been. Now, I scared you all last week when I started my dissertation at the beginning of the show, it seems. And you're probably saying that this is starting to sound the same way, but no. I am just, I guess, looking back in time, and yeah. So Raven is out getting her hair done because when she had the Legionnaires, they ended up giving her a blood pressure medicine, and we had to discover it ourselves and figure out which one, what medicine they gave her was making her hair fall out. And it's bad enough for a guy, I think, to lose his hair, but I think for a woman to lose their hair, it is much worse, psychologically and in every way. So I'm glad that a very loving neighbor that she has for a friend, and that the two of them are getting some time off. She has worked her little tail off here at Gem Shopping over the last, she's had a show every other day with Sam and worked at the office in between. So when it came to today, I told her, and this had been planned, that she could have the day off from what would be at least helping me with the show. So you see the backdrop right there? Yep, bare bones, no frills. You get the old pictures and a couple of specimens, and that's it. Because of the amount of time it takes to undo them and put them up nicely, and so decoratively she does it, that I wasn't even going to compete. So it is what it is. Let's start with the comments. Okay, so Miss Gabby decided to finally pay us a visit, but I think I knew what it was. Of course, Miss Gabby this time of year is, you can count on her as to be like a snowbird, except instead of flying to the south or north, out west she goes, of course, with many affiliations and friends out in the Tucson area. That's where I believe she went. Tough for me to compete with Tucson, even though I've been to, I don't know, I quit counting, 10 times at least out there. I've taken Raven out there for a few times. We've been up to Vegas, the Vegas show, and you know, if they turned off the spigots to Vegas, that would be okay. Town should have never been built where it was, and I didn't see much value in it. I know I might, some people might see it the other way, but except for the history, which I like history of how it was originally a mobster's paradise, and that part of it is pretty cool. But if you've ever flown over from, let's say, from Atlanta to LA, and look for me, it was looking off what would be the right-hand side of the plane and looking down. I followed a waterway, a concrete waterway. Part of the way, it's actually covered due to evaporational rates of the water in it, but it's a concrete flume that runs hundreds of miles. And it is all about siphoning the water that they're fighting over. Forget the gold or minerals out there. Water. That's what the newest commodity is that's going to be worth more than gold to them all out there. Because if you turn that spigot off, there's no more cities. That's the end of it. So, which, as far as I'm concerned, now just my opinion, the water is being wasted in Vegas anyway. And I'm one that doesn't mind putting a couple of quarters down the, so it's not a gambling thing. I have literally gambled around 6 continents. I've gambled on 6 continents, including the island of Gibraltar. So not many people can say that. Monaco, yep. I couldn't play much. Couldn't go to the big boy section in Monaco. But it was fun to be there anyway. So it's not that. It's just, so you stand out and you wait for a taxi to come. This is in a May show. This is the May show in Vegas, okay? It is so hot. It is so unbearably hot that it's like walking into a blast furnace, in case you, for those of you who haven't been. And they run these water misters, because we all know water cools the air. And they run these misters to keep the air cool around you while you're waiting for a taxi, and you're in a taxi line. Everything is wait. It doesn't matter what you do. Wait here, wait there, wait there, wait. While water, they're just wasting water in the big fountains they have and all, you know. That's not using your resource very wisely. The evaporational rate of that water has got to be huge. Okay, so there's my little diatribe about Vegas and how I feel about that. Let's move on. Okay, Miss Gabby drops in and she says, hello, strangers. Between getting ready for an actual 2-week trek to and from Tucson, I haven't even touched base. Bad rock hound. Yeah, that's wild that you actually drive out there, but you have to drive out there so you have the vehicle to bring back the goods, right? When we would fly, it's funny. The better stuff we would carry back, and a carved, you should see, you know, when I went out there all those years, no one gave me anything. Nothing. I didn't get any freebies. Well, our buddy Rod, who I've actually sold quite a bit of his boulder opal in this show, and boulder opal spheres, and in the live show that we did. So I have he has his own boulder opal mine. That's the kind of contacts that goes from the boulder opal mine through, you know, that Roddy has to me to you. And so also he came up with this idea of used watch parts, and created and put little opals in them and made dangling different earrings, watch part earrings. And I'm still trying to get used to the idea, but there's a word, steampunk. I think that's what it was. It's a steampunk look. Don't ask a 62-year-old, even though I got this going on. Steampunk wasn't anything like tie-dye. I know what that is. And so the opals that were put on those were actually quite nice. She wore a pair here the other day, and of course she gets all kinds of compliments. So anyway, I go out there and I don't get anything. Well, she goes out there with me, and she comes back and she has all kinds of items that were just given to her. Oh, little lady, here, take this. Well, one of the items is a slab of boulder opal like this, and about 1 inch thick, and then on top of it sits a carved boulder opal seal. Now, granted, you know, it was mostly ironstone for, you know, boulder opal, but it does have some little opal areas, but nevertheless, it's actually a really nice carving of a seal. Well, that thing has to weigh You know, so the slab we didn't worry too much about. It got shipped back in the luggage, but the seal she wanted to carry. And I said, okay, if you want to carry that, then you're going to carry it yourself. You're not going to be like one of these, here, can you carry this for me? And clever her, she got my business partner to carry it for her, which I thought, wow, that's smooth, that's great, that's good for you. I was all for her. He was good for that. And so that wasn't it, just the only thing. She comes back with more freebies in one visit than I had gotten in the 10 other years that I'd been there. Actually, I don't think I'd ever gotten anything. So it's good to take a personable, hippie-like person of an age that can relate to the other people that are in her age group, and that's a rock hound and knows rocks and minerals and can talk the talk. So yeah, I learned a lot right there. You know, I guess it's kind of like if you're a single guy. I have found out, take a puppy to the park, borrow a puppy, you know, do whatever you take, but just take a puppy to the park and you're in, you know. Remember, it took a newspaper article for me to get my first kiss, and I have since learned from that puppies, high-end jewelry, and a woman on your arm, and you're going to do better than by yourself. Just the way it is. Miss Gabby goes on to say, I had been thinking about that Australian emerald ring. Speaking about Australian opal, which we just were, and Roddy and his mine in Queensland, I've been thinking about that Australian emerald ring since its first airing, and also that chili pepper carving. Lo and behold, even before the show started today, I was lucky enough to get both. Happy Rock Hound, LOL. What an amazing find, because that could have gone so many different other places, but this is the magical show where things wind up and happen for a reason, and they go to the wind up with the person they're supposed to be with. And those Australian emeralds from the Aga Khan mine, just, I'm sure, I know you, that you've researched about that particular mine and the history of the mine. It has an amazing ownership history. And so 3 emeralds that are of a Colombian beautiful color that I so like, but aren't from Colombia. Where else would, you know, it's one of those items you could win every time, as far as asking another person in the know in general where that emerald ring originated as far as the emeralds go. And, you know, 95 out of 100 times they're going to say Colombia because of that look. But when you start looking at the internal inclusions and do enough research, you will find that the Aga Khan mine produced emeralds in that color range. The rarity of being able to put together 3 that match in color and 2 that match in color and in size, that's what made it so special. That's why this particular estate, why she had bought them. But what she paid, and God rest her soul, was actually multiples of that, and of course to make the mounting as well, which I had to make to fit those stones. So it's really neat that I not only got to make it up for the person, because, you know, she has the largest collection of my custom pieces, and it's the only Australian emerald piece I have ever made up. There's not another one that I ever made, period. Not even with one emerald or anything. I had those stones. I put together a nice, clean lined, simple ring because I thought that that's what would show it off best, just the emeralds. And, you know, to know, and here's the thing, I got the stones directly from my Australian opal dealer. So, not Roddy, but my black opal and high-end opal, the same people that owned the chrysoprase mine that were actually written up in a Rock and Gem magazine that you can actually find and look back and find out more about them. And, you know, a great couple that I've known for decades. And unfortunately, he has passed away, but they still have a booth they set up every year. And she brings in incredible chrysoprase carvings. And even, I think the last item I sold, because I had bought so many of their beautiful chrysoprase carvings from their mine that they would have carved. I think the last item I had a little chrysoprase sphere. But also the chrysoprase that I show as a comparison for high quality came from their mine, but it's one of those not for sale pieces. So, yeah, it's neat to know that where that has now, the hands that it has now gone to. And so Miss Gabby goes on to say, deja vu, the lady whose estate you are handling and I must have at least somewhat similar taste. I own the same gemstone bracelet, one with mostly opaque stones, and I would venture to say that even 15 years ago plus, I paid significantly more than $88. Wow, yes. So I knew that what I was pricing that at was very inexpensive. I think you're referencing the quartz one, probably, and since the other one had a mix of opaque stones anyway. And yes, you would have paid more than the $88, even back then. So I am so glad that you appreciate the value to that piece because, you know, when you figure the carat weight and figure the cost per carat, well, it's just incredibly inexpensive. As is so many of these other items. I'm actually going to re-show some of the parcels of gems that I couldn't believe no one has bought. So with those shows, the way they were posting, and I think they mixed up a lot of people, and I think a lot of you really missed out on some of the items. And so we'll re-show some of them. Trivia, Chinese bloodstone, and remember you're mentioning luck and fortune, I think, for the chili peppers. So since the symbol on the serpentine carving is that of fortune, I believe, I'm going with that. Well, you would be correct on how you got to your answer. I am not exactly sure, but you got to the right answer anyway. And let me, I usually read the questions, and I didn't do that. I jumped ahead. So the trivia questions were, number one of the many trade names for serpentine in Asia was listed on a carving. What material? Was listed on a carving as what material? The answer was Chinese bloodstone. Well, it's listed as Chinese bloodstone. I left that on there just to show people, show all of you that you can, even if you're buying it from whatever, even a Chinese store that you would think specializes it, then would know what they're selling. Well, everyone has their alternate names that sound good. Well, China at this period of time, you know, it's not really a selling point. So, but I left it on there anyway. Chinese bloodstone, not correct at all as to what it was. It was serpentine. So I left that on there, and correct answer. Question number two was, chili peppers prevent and protect one from envy and harmful intent during Chinese New Year. They also symbolize what? And I'm referencing, of course, when I say that, the metaphysical side and beliefs to that, and not that I have to put my disclaimer in there, not that such things may actually have those particular powers, but in the metaphysical realm, they attribute them to them. So they also symbolize what? And the answer is good luck and fortune and an increase in wealth. So that was the answers that we're looking for there on that. All right. Getting them right. Love and hugs to all. Miss Gabby. Sue in Texas says, God bless you, Shawn, and our rock group family. Whenever your podcast posts, I'll watch. I have learned to check every day if it doesn't show up on Monday. And that's what I said. If it doesn't show up, just keep looking. Cindy in Pennsylvania says, hello, rock family. Very happy to see your smiling face, Shawn. Quote of the year from Shawn. If I'm not right, it's because I'm not right. Can't get better than that, huh? Truth. Truth. Right there before your very eyes. Plain and simple. Pretty much sums up a lot of us. I never thought of you as snarky, but sure of your knowledge. Therefore, confidently opinionated. Big smile. That's a great way to put it. Like I said, poor Raven, I did it to her again. And she asked me what something, this was just like day before yesterday, what something was. And so I started my same answering her in an educational way where she would have to come up with the answer on her own. And she did very quickly. I said, see, the knowledge was there. You just needed the right triggers to bring it out, the right kind of other information, and to unlock the answer. And but she says, wow, can you ever answer me just directly? And I said, no, then you wouldn't learn anything. So, and then when she does answer me, she said, I wish I knew what it was. Anyway, she said, well, it looks like, let's just say amethyst. She goes, well, it looks like amethyst. I said, well, are you saying it's amethyst? And I said, and then she said, well, it could be. I said, is that your answer? And she goes, okay, yes, fine, that's my answer. I said, then say it with confidence and surety. And then I said, you're right, that's what it is. And so, if you say it sheepishly, and then it's almost as much as saying, I'm just guessing, I really don't know what it is. But say it with confidence, and then the person, when you're right with it, will know that you knew the answer with 100% confidence in it. It's just, if you're going to be wrong, it's better to be wrong with a confident wrong than with a sheepishly, answer that says that you were just guessing all along and maybe guessing at everything else. That's just my opinion. Chinese bloodstone, she says, good fortune and wealth, getting the answers right. Till next Monday, everybody take care. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Fave of the show, the fibrous Congo malachite is gorgeous. Yes, it is. Miss Kathleen says, hello, Shawn. It is great seeing that you are feeling better. I hope all works out okay on the house project. It is no surprise if something happens and a show needs to post late. There's a lot of work that is done behind the scenes that most people don't even know about. So true, so true. And I remember many years ago when I started hosting, there was some of people were commenting on one of the, one of the chat group sites or whatever, and they said, oh, the host, that just looks like it's so easy, anybody can do it. And this other person answered her in the thread and said, yeah, I used to think so too, until I went in front of a mirror and I started talking. And she said 20 minutes later, I was exhausted. I said I was tripping over my words. I had lost my train of thought. had no idea, what to say next. And she said, these hosts at Gem Shopping go out there and they do it for 6 hours at a time or 5 hours in a show at a time. And this is when most all the shows were done with a single host and right through. She goes, so from that point on, for that reason alone, I had a lot greater respect for their ability to be able to do just that part. So I thought that was a good, valid point that she had made. So, Miss Kathleen, you're right. Trivia question number 1. One of the many names for serpentine in China and Asia was listed on a carving as being described as what? It was called Chinese bloodstone. Question number 2. Answer, they bring good luck during the Chinese New Year and symbolize an increase in wealth. Have a great week, Shawn, and the entire crew that makes this show possible. Thank you, Miss Kathleen. You're very kind. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts, hello, all great show. I was a little concerned at the beginning of the show, the way you started and things you were sharing and the way you were saying it almost sounded like you were saying goodbye. The amends you were making kind of threw me, and I kind of didn't know what to make of it. So I will say you are loved, and I know by our group and much more. That much is a given. What you have given to our hobby and industry is immeasurable. So I'm very happy your words went from scaring the out of me to one of hope and looking to the future. I know I'm here as long as you are. You touched on thermochromism, zircon. Is there a zircon that will change color from as little as the heat of a match, then go back again to original color? Love the story of the conch in the Bahamas. Yeah, where I got the conch pearls. I mean, talking about getting them right from the source. Trivia. Answer, bloodstone, and number 2, fortune and wealth. Very good, getting the answers right. Now, your question regarding the zircon. And this is where, of course, the ear hears one thing when what was spoken was something else, especially since there's so many things that kind of are sound-alikes in this hobby, including mineral specimens. I mean, so many mineral specimens, the names are very close, or maybe just a simple difference of an I or an E in the spelling of them. Now, so you said thermochromism. That would be a change of color based on heat. Now, there is something that is, and I've experienced it many times, and it's called a chameleon. That should be a question, a trivia question. But I don't think we've ever covered it. So a name given to a particular diamond that changes color under heat is called a chameleon diamond. And I was reading actually a GIA article one time that made a big deal out of these things, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. As a goldsmith working at the bench and tipping prongs on diamonds and working with diamonds under heat for, 45 years, 50 years if you include the stone cutting, I can tell you that I have changed the color of a diamond so many times, and I'd sit there and I'd say, oh, please go back to its original color. Please go back to its original color. Because I would take this, beautiful fine white diamond and I would tip the prong, which you do with the diamond in there. It's the only stone. You can do it with ruby and sapphire, but you got to make sure that they've already been heat treated, or else you don't want to take a no heat ruby and sapphire and tip the prong on it, because then you might do what's called a low heat treatment to them. So diamonds, you can put heat to them up to a certain point, and then after that point you frost the surface, and it takes you have to have it professionally repolished. But before that point, you can actually melt solder on top of the prongs and rebuild them with the diamond in there. But what it does to only a small percentage, and you don't know until you have put the heat to it, and it will change that diamond to a yellowish or yellowish brown color, amazingly so. And it is on those. And so normally you can take a diamond after you tip the prong, if it's clean, if it doesn't have a big fracture in it, and put it straight into the pickle pot, which is warm, but still you're going from a huge difference in temperature change. Any other stone but diamond, and it would fracture. It would be a heat temperature change fracture would be created, including ruby and sapphire. But diamond can take that. On the ones that would change color, though, I would not put them in the pickle pot and go through that quick temperature change, because I would always fear that it would stop the process and maybe they wouldn't go back to their original color. Like I'd freeze it in that other color. So I just would sit there, and watch it as it cooled down, hoping that that diamond that was a fine white in color and that I just turned a canary yellow would go back to its original color. And every time it did. I mean, all the way back to its original color. Now that I would consider something as thermochromism. The diamonds that do that have actually been given a name, and chameleon diamonds is it. But we didn't talk about that because zircon can't take that kind of heat per se, and the way they treat them is not something that as they cool that they go back to their original color. What we were talking about with the zircons was something that's called reverse photochromism. Reverse photochromism, or tenebrescence. And that's where a particular wavelength of light changes the color of and in this case, ultraviolet light totally will remove and change the color of a blue zircon. And if you want to hear my entire presentation, listen to last week's show, and it's very interesting. And you have to use an incandescent bulb, a particular wavelength, to bring back the color in it. And in every instance, the color has been restored. Now, I also wanted to add, I mentioned a 22 watt bulb only because you're supposed to do it like 1 centimeter away from the stone, and it won't get too hot at a 22 watt bulb. If you use too strong of an incandescent bulb, you're putting off a lot of heat, and so therefore you don't want to do that. So, but it has to be an incandescent bulb to be able to reverse the color that your ultraviolet light did to it. And yep, so I guess I should have covered that a long time ago, but we don't have too many people that buy those really nice blue zircons that have ultraviolet lights that like to play around with them and get into trouble like that. So, but anyway, Mr. Anthony, I'm sorry to worry you about thinking that I was doing my swan song for exiting, and I'm glad it wasn't as well. I already did one of those when I left the live show to come down here. So, been here a long time, plan on being around gem shopping for a lot longer, like the group around me. I think sitting in this room between the three of us, we have, well, about 55, maybe 60 years of time here at gem shopping. Wow. Charles, ciao, Professor Shawn, GSN crew, and Rock family. I wish there was a way the insurance company could put you up in a motorhome on your property. Now you're talking. While they were doing the repair work, so you could pop in with a respirator on whenever you need. What do you mean? I can take that motorhome and go out to Arkansas and dig me some diamonds. I was thinking about that driving in. I really want to accomplish that. I really want that, because with my knowledge and the amount of prospecting, running sluices, and also exactly knowing just like I was in the Cowee Valley, I knew exactly what North Carolina ruby and sapphire corundum looked like as a teenager, and I would be sitting down there at the end of the flume, and I did it until the owners said, that they'd been, and the management watching me, and they let me get away with it for a while until they realized that I knew what I was doing in getting those stones. And then they actually pulled me aside, and they ended up to be really nice, because they knew that I was, innocent but knowledgeable. And they said, you're actually doing what we do, and we recycle the stones that are missed as well, that come out of the buckets. So yeah, I know exactly what rough diamonds look like, and so many people would step over, and if you had them laid out, would not be able to pick them out and find them. It's that kind of a thing. So I don't know. I just know I would find one, and I just want to be able to say I found a diamond in the rough, and I want to do that. But I need to do it when it's cooler weather, et cetera, et cetera. And now I didn't make it this season either. I tried to get the big garnet and the Indian zeolite, but they were sold and not meant for me. Charles, that's exactly the way to look at it. That if something was sold and someone else got it, then there's another piece that's meant for you. Just like that blue topaz you got. So many people wanted that, but who got it? You did. It is so true how the magic of this show gets the right stones to the right people at the right time. It's going to complement the trivia topaz nicely. My wife Heidi is a belly dancer and has put together a blue and orange costume that will look great with a matching necklace and ring. Absolutely indeed. Oh, the sentence I missed was, what was meant for me was that blue topaz you showed again on the Friday show. And then he said it's so true about the magic of the show. Absolutely, Charles. And I would be kind of interested to see how you incorporated the topaz in an outfit like that. That'd be cool. You have my permission to roast me if I don't get the trivia answers correct. I wouldn't roast anybody. So sorry. With love, Charles. Question, Bloodstone and Fortune and Wealth, getting them right. Harry in Massachusetts. Hi there, Professor Shawn and the lovely Raven and all of them cool GSN cats, as well as my brothers and sisters in Stone. Getting the answers right, Bloodstone, luck and prosperity. There, trivia, yay, done and out of the way. Now, you mentioned about being a better person, a better teacher, a better rock hound, a better father, a healthier guy. Now, don't make any more silly excuses and pick up your industrial supply catalog and order a really nice respirator. And I did have one when I was doing refining, because there were some really bad chemicals. And I don't know, that's just one of the mysteries to me. That respirator disappeared and nobody had been to my house. I still wondered to this day. I thought I would actually find it moving all the basement around years ago. But it was like an $80 respirator. One with the canisters, the real fancy ones. I can't believe how, oh, no big deal, middle of the road attitude towards it you sounded, when if you don't get one of these, you will keep damaging your already damaged lungs. So do us all a favor, our favorite professor, order it today, please. And don't forget to order the cans, too. I'm sorry, but someone has to be hard on you about this. Hee hee. I just love being the tough guy, LOL. All in good love, my brother. Now I gotta run. Lovingly, Harry. P.S. Happy Valentine's Day, which is a great reminder. I know it's late, but all you ladies, happy Valentine's Day. And why not? With love and professional love, friendship love. All you guys too. Happy Valentine's Day. And you know, it seems the older that you get, the Valentine's Day, you know, when I heard how much people spend a year on Valentine's Day, it's like, wow. But I think the only people Raven got Valentine's Day things for were everybody but me. No, we're girls, we're ladies, and I don't know. And it's really nice. They actually had a party here, and she was part of putting it together. A Valentine's Day party for everybody, food and all. So I think that was a first at Gem Shopping, and And the security here helped do that. So I thought that was really, really nice. Miss Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rockhounds. I hope everybody had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I was able to purchase the amethyst and peridot ring plus the parcel of iolite. I've been wanting an iolite parcel for a while, and these will be perfect for what I have in mind. Thank you. My answer to this week's questions are Chinese bloodstone, good fortune, and increase in wealth. I hope everyone has a great week. Miss Elisa. Well done, getting the answers right there. And isn't that cool? The iolite parcel, you've been wanting one, boom, there it goes. And that's the way it works. Miss Penny, another one we hadn't heard from in a while, and her wonderfully growing older and older son, Mahalis. Hello, she's, by the way, our resident Greek transport, or what is it, export from Greece, living in Quebec now. So, listen to this. She has an interesting story. I hope everyone is well. Shawn, it's nice to see you again after a couple weeks of absence. It did feel that way, didn't it? Thank you for another great show. Trivia, bloodstone, and good fortune or wealth. I think the bloodstone stayed with me because my reason when you said it was, that doesn't look like bloodstone, but what do I know? See, that's what Penny had said to herself. Well, Miss Penny, you do know. That's what you do know, that it wasn't bloodstone. And that's the way I kind of teach Raven. It's like, if you know something is something or isn't something, say it with confidence. And that way people know and believe that you knew it all along. As for the higher end estate jewelry, I would love to see it, but unfortunately I can't afford to purchase it. Shawn, the way you started the comments, second one. I thought you were about to announce that you're stopping your podcast. I'm extremely pleased that you are not. I need my weekly Shawn fix, even if it takes me a few days to watch your show in its entirety. Thank you. Mahalis and I are looking forward to our March break, the week of March 6th. It seems as if the 2-week Christmas holiday never even happened. The students in both elementary and high school are going from bad to worse, particularly in terms of their behaviors and attitudes, and obviously the grades usually follow. This applies to all grade levels from kindergarten to grade 11. I understand exactly where the attitudes come from when I talk to their parents. To all the new and young parents out there, behavior starts from the home with you. At the very least, please teach your children respect and manners. That's it for my therapy session. That's it for now. Hope to see you next week. Wishing everyone a wonderful week. Penny and Mahalis. And Miss Penny, you are so correct. As a one of 6 children and parents that loved all 6 of us, and my mom was an educator as well, and my father was special ops during the Korean War, and it wasn't a sense of fear, but it was a sense of respect for my parents, that if we did something wrong, that there would be repercussions. And of course it wasn't, I only saw my dad ever take the belt off, and twice, in 4 boys, 2 girls, and only twice my entire growing up. And I remember both times well. I remember I was up in Suffern, New York, where we lived at the time. I was 6 years old, and it was an upper level. And my brother Scott, who has the jewelry store outside Raleigh in Rockymont, that I think Miss Elisa had been to. Anyway, he and I were running buddies growing up, and as teenagers and everything. And so a great brother. But I remember on the little walkway that overlooked and looked down into the living room, one of my earliest childhood memories. I remember even then thinking, oh, I'm glad that wasn't me. My brother Scott burnt down an apple orchard that was right behind the subdivision. Yep, playing with matches. He's the closest, we were the closest together, so he's only like 20 months older than me. And so he was only like maybe 8, 7.5, 8 years old, and playing with matches, and he burnt down the apple orchard behind us. Yep, that's something that you should usually get a belt for. And then the only other time was my, again, 2 older brothers. Now, I was a good guy. I just knew what not to do. This was in Sarasota, Florida. They laid in the ditch on DeSoto Road. It was a steep ditch, and they thought it was a really bright idea to take and create a spitball apparatus, except shooting BBs out of the spitball, straw, gun, whatever you call it. And they were yucking it up and having a big time hitting and hearing the ping on the cars until they watched one, and we had a long front yard, like 2.5 acres, so it was long. Watched one pass and then hit the brakes and started to turn around. With my brothers, I remember them running like no tomorrow, all the way up that driveway and hid in the house. That guy, and my dad worked out of the house. Unfortunate for them, my dad came up. My dad came out, met the gentleman. He called my brothers. He said, "Did you do this?" And they had to admit it. And he assured the gentleman that they would be taken care of, and they were taken care of. Rightfully so. It could have caused the guy to have an accident and bodily harm. So that was the only 2 times, and they were well deserved. Other than that, we were never spanked or anything else like that. Great parents, brought up with lots of respect. I did the same to my son, and of course, as an officer and a gentleman now, my son is, oh man, he's just like, makes us all look bad with, the opening of the doors, yes sir, no sir, the military way. And ladies, it's that Richard Gere stuff that you like so much, the officer and a gentleman kind of thing. Well, that's my son, but I passed on a lot of that to start with. I'll take some credit for that. All right, so that's all the comments. We lots of right answers, so we put the name in a hat and drew. And people chide me for what I give away, and sometimes I shouldn't, and sometimes it creates trivia envy. I think today's is going to probably create some of that trivia envy. The winner this week is Miss Kathleen, who I think has never been our winner yet, but she's only joined us again a few weeks ago, or whatnot, and right thing at the right time at the right place. Miss Kathleen, let's show you what you have won. This is, I thought about putting it up for sale, but I thought, no, too many people will want it. I'll just give it away. Yeah, a Moldavite. Believe it or not, I am giving away a Moldavite. And this is actually one of the coolest Moldavites because I call it an educational stone, because it has the correct inclusions in it so that you can actually learn what is genuine Moldavite and what is not. Now, Moldavite, the real stuff, should have air bubbles in it like glass, and also when you look at it under magnification, it will have these wavy little lines as if poured, just like as if you blow glass or pour glass. You get these natural wavy lines that are like nothing else in any other material. Now you can see the bubbles yourself in this with the eye. You can see them like at that angle, right, like that. And now the better quality, of course, is without any of those inclusions, but almost then it would almost trigger a worry that it would be genuine. Under magnification, you're going to find bubbles in almost any piece. They may be small, but most likely they'll be there. There can also be some organic matter and other type of inclusions, and this has all of those. So this is a great piece to use as an educational stone to show what all the different possibilities are for the inclusions in a natural moldavite. It's also nicely cut, as a matter of fact. It's exactly a 10 by 8 and over 2 carats. Nice stone. Don't have any other one. There was those 2 big ones in those rings that I offered, but this is the classic color also. Moldavite will always be in a very small, close range of color, and it'll be an olive green. It won't be a green green. It won't be a peridot green. It will be very close to this exact color range that you see that this is. So congratulations to you on that one. I wish I had more for sale, but you know me, if I only have the one, instead of everyone wishing that they were able to buy it, I'll just give it away. And Miss Kathleen, if this stone has some special meaning to you for any reason, let us know, because things happen around here. The magic happens for a reason. And if you don't have one even, that would be a good reason for you to have been the one to win it as well. I'll let you do a little more research if you don't know about moldavite. Moldavite, though, is a tektite, and tektites are always named after the place of impact from a meteor hitting the ground and creating a strewn field. This created the Reese crater, which about 15 million years ago, and they, the moldavites there are the most beautiful, or I should say tektites, are the most beautiful in the world, and really the only ones that are able to be faceted. There's other ones that have clarity and the ability to cut them, but they are a color that's not as desirable as the wonderful greens from that area. So, well done. Congratulations, and let's continue with the show. I'll be right back. Well, you know, I could make a lot of different chicken jokes. I know these guys have them for me, but that came from, I had chickens in my backyard. I tell you what, there's nothing better than a fresh chicken egg than a store-bought one. And if you've never actually had the difference, you would never know. But being the farmer that I was, and had grown up actually from my dad knowing all that, carried it on to a really nice subdivision we live in, and got away with it. Had to get rid of those roosters, though. Yeah, 4 roosters, tough to kind of hide those at 5:30 in the morning when they had their 2 cents to say. Anyway, perfect timing here in time for Easter coming up, and wow, where have you seen a more unique and unusual set of all of them? This is going to be, not each, going to be for the entire set, and they have wooden bases, and this is calcite onyx. Now, there's not all calcite onyx. There's actually some, there might be. This is something a little different. This is something different. I'll leave it up to you guys to figure it out. That's a really pretty color with the green in there. But their natural color, you've seen, back to calcite onyx. Now, a lot of times you'll see these be sold as onyx, and it's not a true onyx. Onyx, in the true sense of the word, is a cryptocrystalline quartz. It's a much harder item. This is what you see. You go to Mexico and they'll have these sets of goblets, wine goblets, and all carved out of this material. And it's funny because the first time you put anything acidic like wine or lemon juice or lemonade in them, it will strip the polish straight off. They're also very porous. It'll absorb the colors. You will dye them and not even know it. But anyway, in this case, a set of these eggs, what a neat, look how pretty that one is. That is really, really a good looking, look at the colors in that. All right, so anyway, you can't go wrong. Only have the one set, and it is at a opportunity price because, let's see, so $5.9. With the bases, you get them also. And how would you like them all for? This is why I said to Austin, I said, I don't know if I want to put them all on the stands. He said, Shawn, you just talk for an hour. You can take the time to put them on the stands. He was right. $36 for them all. I don't want to hear it, guys. I know it's a good deal. $36 for all. Okay, so that said, let me take these up now, and while you're looking at each one, as I take it away, and you know, I don't think you could find a better opportunity. Oh, some of these may actually have a little bit of a stickiness on them from where there was a label, an original pricing label. Anyway, just take some, yeah, like this one. And all I use is Windex, just Windex. Don't use anything acidic or anything that is beyond the strength of something like Windex. Okay, now I am going to put something else out while I swoop the rest of those away. So here, this is perfect. It's item 110-2823. 110-2823. Okay, what I'm getting ready to show you is, I tell you what, the only one I have really ever seen, and it's kind of crazy. So I'm going to put that right in front of you for a moment. This is, you may want to be calling in right now. It is a 10-inch long. Now, if I say something is, as far as looking like a bracelet, and it's 10 inches long, you might wonder, well, what is 10? That would be too long. No. This is what makes it so unique and different, the fact that it is an ankle bracelet. An ankle bracelet, and it is an ankle bracelet that will actually not break. So many people don't like them. You know, even all these different ages, you know, of women are, you know, getting everything from their nose pierced to their belly button pierced, and it's all cool and a very nice youthful look. And ankle bracelets, I think, look really hip as well. It's just that you can't find them.
That word hip.
I know. I was going to say groovy next. Oh, I guess I can't say groovy, but yeah. So there. And I actually, not that of course guys wear ankle bracelets, but for size reference, I wanted to make sure that it fit around my ankle, and of course it did. So a lot of times ankle bracelets were like 9 inches and all, and that was often always too short. So I would usually, when I would make one for someone, I would always suggest a more of a 10-inch size, and it always worked out just perfect. And when I saw this as a 10-inch size, I thought, okay, well that's exactly the right, correct length. And this is, of course, look at really nice. What do they call that? I don't know. I don't know all my chains names, Byzantine or something, but it has a good, strong, heavy-duty lobster claw clasp. It has soldered jump rings, and how neat is that, huh? And what's even neater is you're going to love the price. Absolutely going to love the price on that. It is a sale, of course. You know, the women can, you know, girls can do this so much better than a guy, and that's why we don't. Okay, so $34. $34 on that. Yeah, that's why you see all the product support people, they're women, because, yeah, they just do those things better. $34. Item, this is what I do best, is talk about gemstones. Item 1102-323. 1102-323. And you have not seen me offer one of these in a while. And if I told you it was a spodumene, that would put it a little closer, and you might then know that I'm going to show you one particular color of spodumene, and that would be the most popular, which is kunzite. Kunzite, named after the very famous Tiffany and Company gemologist and gemologist of his day, along with Hiddenite, William Hidden fame. Look at this. So, wonderful pink kunzite, kunzite, and kunzite's very dichroic. It changes color with the direction that you look through it. So in the crystal, the same. It has to be cut correctly. It's often called the evening stone because, let me already give you a little forewarning, kunzite does lose its color in the sunlight. Oftentimes, crystals of kunzite, when they're dug up, will actually be blue or green. And in the sunlight, then they set them in the sunlight because they know they're not stable anyway. So then they'll put them in the sunlight and they actually will turn the more stable pink color. But an extended stay in the sun, and yes, they can fade by way of the color. So you don't want that to happen. And that's why they often will call it like the evening stone, to where you wear it out in the evening and whatnot. After the lesson that we talked about with the blue zircon losing its color under ultraviolet light, that would make a definite shocker to a lot of people. So there are some warnings that need to come with other gemstones, and one of them is some of the pink stones. And kunzite is one of them. Price on this one, though, and it hasn't lost any of its color. It's, even though it's been enjoyed. I took this actually out of a ring. I didn't think it was a saleable ring, but certainly as a loose kunzite, it should find a home. It's calibrated 14 by 10. This stone, look at the weight, 5.67 carat. How would you like that? Let's see, 5.67. If we multiplied that times, let's say $7 a carat, we'd get to over $39. That would be really inexpensive. How about $38? $38 on that. It is a calibrated size, checkerboard cut top, even though it's clean, and $38. Can't go wrong there. Now, so let's see here. So that you have, let me see. I was thinking I had a choice for you, and I do. So let's show it at the same time. Yes, I have another one. Let's look at item 1102223. 1102223. And here is, I'll show the two side by side just for a moment. I don't want to get them mixed up, but it'd be a little hard to do, being that one is a checkerboard cut and the other is just a standard classic oval. So let's look at this gem, and here are the two next to each other. Obviously, you can see a difference in the pink. Some of it is coming due to the size of this particular one, but you can see one is more of a pink, the other is more of a peachy pink. So we'll take this one away, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of the difference in the color. Now, all the finest kunzites really do come from Afghanistan. Now, there is many kunzites that you see that are not treated in any way. I would suspect that these are some that have not been treated either. They do treatments to them, and it does enhance the color, but it enhances it almost to a fake too good to be true color. And if you put it in the sunlight after these treatments, it'll quickly lose the color that you paid for, that it was created out of it. This is a 12.54 carat, 16 by 12. So a calibrated size and a really nice, strong, lovely pink. It's about as classic of a pink as you would want in a kunzite. It's kind of what you think of as kunzite for the color. Nice cut, really well cut. Very clean stone, as you can see. And I remember these kunzites, selling them, couldn't even keep them. Sold kunzite after kunzite for big money, but that's not the case here. I am going to offer this one at not so big money. 12.54 carat, $118. $118. That is less than $10 a carat. Less than $10 a carat, and a great pink, nice calibrated stone. And again, at some point in the future, there won't be the kunzites available like there is. As everything does, everything runs out in time. And as long as you heard the Argyle mine that was going to be closed year after year after year after year, but then it kept getting postponed because it was still producing diamonds, well, it did finally come to an end. And so all good things do come to an end. And it's funny though, some of the last amazing diamonds that were produced from the Argyle mine were a selection that had gone up for auction, and they were incredible. Some reds, some pink, super intense pink, some of the rarest colors that Argyle produced. So, you know, when I think about it, all right, the only reason they closed it was because they couldn't make money. But there were still diamonds there, and it's kind of, you know, unless you could afford to mine it on a huge production basis, then you have to close because you would lose money. But are diamonds still there? Are beautiful pink and red diamonds still there to be found? Yes, but they just can't be found anymore to make it production of them profitable. So it's kind of like almost leaving gold behind in the gold mine, and you know that had to be done too. And look when they the Sweet Home mine, which was a silver mine, look what happened when they closed it up as a silver mine, and then rhodochrosite. So the world's finest rhodochrosite was discovered there, and then a lot of it actually more valuable than some of the silver produced from there. So you just never know when they close these mines. They close them because of profitability, yet there's still some gems left to be found. I think it would be finding a needle in a haystack when it comes to the diamond mining part, but the diamonds I think that are still yet to be found are in Arkansas. I'm going. All right, this jewel I have at only $118 and less than 10 a carat. An excellent buy. Now, let me show you two more really perfect stones for this show because it is this month's birthstone. Let's look at item 1101-923. And this is a chance, if you do not have an amethyst, this is a chance to get in on some. And remember, amethyst that I'm going to be selling is natural amethyst. There is so so very much lab-grown amethyst in the market, and it's almost impossible to tell the difference, that they've actually just accepted it to be used in jewelry and not even to be disclosed as lab-grown. It's kind of ruined the market for the natural items. That's why when I say amethyst, you want to see zoning, you want to see inclusions, you want to see something in it that tells you it's not a lab-grown amethyst. That's why this is natural color. Look at that intensity of color. So if you turn this at the right, correct, different ways, you'll see zoning in it. You'll see little veils. I'm not sure if the veils are in this one or another stone I'm going to show you in a moment, but either way, there's one of the two in here that will tell you that it is a natural stone. And just because maybe something isn't of the best and most intense color, because the growers, the creators of amethyst, you know, at first thought we always wanted to see the deepest and the best color. So they made this perfect color, intense color with the red flash and the blue in them. And it was so obvious that it was, you know, and for $2 a carat. And I said, you know, what, the price alone tells you that it's not a naturally mined gem. Also watch the words and the way they word things. They can say natural amethyst, and that is chemically true. And I've seen things advertised like that. And they're selling lab-grown amethyst. Well, when they say natural amethyst, it is natural. It is naturally, chemically the same. But the key word that needs to be added is naturally mined, or, you know, earth mined amethyst. You know, then put no treatments, etc. So it separates it from so much of the way they play with the semantics in the way they market these things. This is a really nice stone, has a really nice color for amethyst. And amethyst, genuine amethyst like this, when I tell you what I'm selling this for, does not represent the actual value of what amethyst like this is selling for now. So don't think that that's the value of amethyst. It's not. It's just that I am offering it at a far below the market value for it. Price on this one, 9.92 carats, is kind of silly because I'm offering that for only $38. That is, yeah, $38, which is what, $4 a carat or so? I couldn't replace that, even buy it for $4 a carat. Not one cut well and that clean. All right, I have one more I'm going to show you. Let me get it out and I'll be right back. Okay, so here is another one. This one, now you can see the zoning. Hold on, let me turn this off. I can't chase it. Okay, I just saw zoning right. See that right there, that angle right through there, that difference in color. That's how you can tell that you have. And you can see it back on the other end as well. And that's what you want to see anymore. So they learned that not to make amethyst the best color, that because they can make them any color you want, because they were realizing their sales started dropping off, and because people wanted an amethyst that was believable so that they could sell it as a genuine amethyst and get more money for it. And so they started making them in the lighter purple shades. Same thing with citrines. There's citrines also that are lab created. It's really gotten kind of crazy in the market. Now think of this as a gem buyer. What's been happening, even with the lab-grown diamonds, is when you buy a milli parcel. Now milli are diamonds that are less than 10 points each. And in the case of gemstones, you can buy them in these large quantities. I remember a Brazilian friend of mine, the one that taught me how to re-oil emeralds, just really knows the business well. But when he was first into the business, this is a great amethyst story. It's worth a minute to tell you the story. These people are still around, so I will change the names. And they actually knew the original founder of this company, Frank. So there's even more stories to that. But this young up-and-coming gem dealer that was helping his uncle sell different stones and take and move deliveries, well, he was put in charge of delivering a entire briefcase full of cut amethyst. So as this young 21-year-old, not being familiar with gemstones much or having been around them, when he had this huge quantity of amethyst, he thought it was the most beautiful thing, and he, of course, also loved to impress the ladies. And he took those amethysts and he dumped them all out on the bed, a hotel bed. And it was literally covered the bed. And when I say a briefcase, there's probably actually more than that, because I've seen the quantity that his uncle dealt in. His uncle now has a Brazilian fire opal mine, and sets up at shows and is actually very well known. But this is the way this younger new helper is now, of course, a huge gem dealer, and he's the one also that has the Imperial Topaz mine and is a huge emerald dealer himself. And he is so picky about the way he takes care of his cut stones. They're individually bagged. He really, well, he's gone from one extreme to the other, to say the least, because what he did with those amethysts, he put them all out on the bed. And then, so he could, I'm just going to tell it like it is, he had this beautiful Brazilian girl that he wanted to impress. And so he invited her over, and of course, she had never seen anything, so, and of course, the purple is a romantic, inducive color and seductive color. They were across the white sheets of the bed, spread all the way across, and she thought they were just stunning. Remember, the color purple was reserved for royalty also. So the two of them proceeded to roll around. I'll just put it this way, just using the term roll around. You substitute it for whatever you want to. They proceeded to roll around together on top of an entire bed covered in amethyst. Yeah. Well, the means to the end worked for him, because it was an exciting evening and he scored. Afterwards, he noticed all these little tiny pieces, I mean tiny pieces of these purple, that when he picked up all the amethyst, it looked like little grains of sand that were left on the white, against the white sheets. And then he started looking at the amethyst. He said, Shawn, I probably chipped or broke over 50% of them. Over 50% of the amethyst he chipped or broken. And these were high-end, beautiful amethysts, well cut. Yeah. His uncle was furious. I mean, he said, Shawn, I have never seen anyone be so angry for so long. He had to do a lot to make up for it. Every single stone had to be recut that was chipped, so there was an additional weight loss. He goes, he lost thousands of dollars in that. Yeah. Yeah. He didn't realize. He didn't know. All he saw was the means to the end to impress a girl. And now it's amazing because every one of his stones is individually bagged in these fancy little bags that I can't even describe. They're nothing like our Ziploc bags.
God. So now the lesson is, if you're gonna bag a girl, make sure you bag her on top of your amethysts that are individually bagged. Oh my God, what is this show all about?
You know, I hope they heard that because I don't want to be the one to repeat what Asif just said, but that is funny. Okay, yeah. So Asif's advice was that next time he needs to individually bag the amethyst if he's going to do any future bagging. And we'll just leave it at that. Good point. Well.
Otherwise, he's just gonna, have himself again.
Excuse me. Hold on. Oh my. I know. What kind of idiot? What kind of idiot? So, he said, needless to say, my uncle didn't send me on any more deliveries for a while. And he said he tells this story on himself just because he never wants to forget what he did. And he's a great guy now, lives in Florida, got several kids, is a big dealer.
Florida man.
Yes, a Florida man. And that's the...
Oh, God. That's what you should have started with.
I know, exactly.
$50,000 worth of amethyst.
Yes. No, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth. Yes, it was some of the highest quality Brazilian amethyst there was. Great story. All right, this gem right here at 17.61 carats is only $48. $48. Look at how big that is. Look at how big. That is, close to the 20 by 15, what would be calibrated. That is a wonderful stone. You can see just this light zoning in it, telling you it's the real deal, and guaranteed to not have played a role in any kind of rolling around and getting lucky. Yeah, that story's out of the bag. You know what? I would not, the owner knew about this story, and I would not have been able to tell that story prior to changing of hands of the company, because it would have, yeah.
Did you take a black light through those amethysts?
No. Oh my gosh. Oh, I would not even say that. I am not going to read it. Just.
You can say that.
I can say that?
Yeah,
okay.
Take those amethysts to the closet. Put a black light on.
Okay, so as a director of the company, I can repeat what he said. He suggested, Asif just suggested to me that you may want to take the amethyst to the closet and check the fluorescence of it. Well, I think there's enough of you educated enough to realize the rest of the story as to as to the scientific purposes and other uses of an ultraviolet light. Big stone, beautiful stone, great story to go with it, except this was not part of it, okay? Okay, I just want to make sure this story is not part of that one. But in the world of gemstones, I have never forgotten that story that he told to me. And he tells it on himself because he still says, I feel so foolish to this day as to what I did. It was all about the girl, Shawn. He goes, I never ever once thought about the gemstones or the value or my uncle. All I thought about was the girl. And okay, so for only $48, there's your opportunity and the story to go with amethyst in general, but not that particular one. All right, let's look at this. Let's go back to something more benign. My birthstone, 109-7023. Yep, Shawn's life and his birthstone, much more boring than well, it's a common Brazilian name, so I'll say it's for then Sergio's story. Yeah. 109 70 23. Okay, I'm not going to take these out, but because they're beautiful enough.
These are one of the amethysts that you have pictured behind you.
I actually make him tell me. I don't see him often, but when I do see him, I make him tell the story again because he speaks perfect English, but he's bilingual, of course, with a slight Portuguese accent. And when he tells this story, it's the same exact story. So it's a real deal. And for him to tell it on himself, it's just as funny. He said it was not funny for him at the time. Okay, so for those of you that missed out on the big garnet last week, that a huge garnet, I have an almandine garnet parcel. You know what? I'm just looking at this garnet though. This one has some of the same. Well, I'm not going to take it out. Has some of that same purple reflections as did that large one. These all came out of the same piece of jewelry. So it's a piece of jewelry I broke down, and I did do a magnet test on them. So they are almandine, and of course could have some other, there's always, garnet's seldom in its purest form. There's always, oftentimes, intermixed with some other garnet. But for the most part, it's an almandine. And so 6.90 carat total weight, 14 stones, and for the entire parcel. This is what's crazy. For the entire parcel, $19. $19. 6.90 carat, and wow. The time it would take to cut all of those even is just, crazy. Now, hold on. Let me put this in here. Okay, I have a really special piece next to show you. And this ring, I didn't make the mounting, but I set the ring up. And I had the stones. And so, let me scan this. So this is item number. And this is actually quite a rare piece. Item 110-2923. 110-2923. And I don't know. Okay, there's so much to talk about this one. One moment. Let me get my correct information about this. And here it is. Okay. Now, a lot of you know and have heard of a green variety of this stone that is quite a beautiful gem and has a Russian origin, but not the black star version. Let me show you a ring I totally set up. Check this out. Look at this. Beautiful star diopside with incredible white sapphires around it. Now, I personally made this up for the owner of the estate, and she actually, I had the stone, and she wanted the piece designed around it. Now, she knew the center stone, by way of the cost of it, wasn't all that great, but she still wanted it in 14 karat gold, and she wanted white sapphires. Now, when I got these white sapphires, I remember to this day, I actually got them from a well-known company that all of us do business with in pretty much for the findings and the parts and pieces that support the goldsmiths. And they also have a large gemstone inventory as well. I could not believe, and then since then I verified, I could not believe how much white sapphires are going for and sell for. They are expensive. It's because the white sapphire is sapphire in its purest form, in its natural form, Al2O3. So if you make an aluminum oxide and you do not add any other impurities to it, the stone is naturally clear white. That is what it is in its pure form. But being that sapphire is an allochromatic gem, in other words, it gets its other colors from impurities. So if you have a blue sapphire, you can attribute it from titanium to iron impurities that give it its blue. If you have sapphire or corundum, which is the actual mineral, what the mineral is called, and you add chromium to it, that's what creates the color red, and hence is a ruby, and so on. So to get the actual sapphire without any impurities in nature is a very rare thing. That's why large white sapphires and whatnot, they have to be usually certified to be sapphire, because it's such a rare thing that the color is without any tint of any impurity. So they were also one of the first early diamond lookalikes. And what they were used in a lot of jewelry as, you know, as for the look of diamond, but a cheaper version thereof. They don't have as high of a dispersion like white zircon does, but they certainly are more durable. So these are relatively really clean. Now, the neat thing, okay, so that's the sapphires. You know a lot about sapphire. You can see how pretty these are. Now, these are big in the world of sapphires, in the world of also smaller sapphires. They're actually quite large. They match well. And I set the entire piece up. Now, the size of the center stone, the star diopside, 16 by 10, is not a calibrated size. So I had to adjust the mounting to get it to fit this particular stone. Now, this particular stone, a lot of you, well, not the group of youngsters around me, but the rest of a lot of you listening to me from the 1970s, you'll remember getting in the mail these little stones called Black Star of India. They would never use the funny word diopside, but they were called Black Star of India, and they give them away. Just like later they were giving away, you get in the mail those 1 carat cubic zirconias, just kind of as promotions for one thing or another. Well, the Black Star of India were genuine little stones, and they were diopsides, and they had stars. What do you notice difference about this star than a regular star in a sapphire? Well, instead of having 6 rays, there's only 4. And it's due to what's called its binary symmetry. And there's something else that is different about the star. It isn't oriented on a 90-degree geometrical basis. These angles are not 90 degrees apart. In other words, they aren't don't form right angles, and you can see that. You can see that in the piece, and that's partly due to its crystalline structure being monoclinic. Okay, now let's take this off of here and show you the side and how, look at that. It fits it perfectly. I had to, it's the nice larger finger size, so it can, I think it's like a size 11 or so, so it can fit bigger fingers. You can wear it on a middle finger, or it can be sized. I can size it for you. Just talk to your sales rep and have a work order done on it. All right. There's something else that many people don't know about this particular stone, and we have not discussed this before about the Black Star Sapphire. I'm going to take it off of there. Now, what creates the star in... Uh-huh. Oh, I'm sorry. With the white sapphires and the star, I mixed that up a couple times. So what creates this and the star? Well, so many people think that because rutile creates the star in a star sapphire, that rutile has a lot to do with the stars and a lot of other stones. Well, that may be the case, but not always the case. The star that is formed in diopside. Now, diopside, the chemical formula for diopside, it's a calcium magnesium silicate. So it's just calcium, magnesium, silicon, and oxygen. That's it. There is no other elements in it. Now, what creates the star is not inclusions of rutile, but it is magnetite. Yes, magnetite. Now, I'm going to show you the best way to determine if you have a star sapphire or a star diopside. Here is something that you will only see in this show and probably have never seen before, but it is an incredible identifying tool. Now, you don't even need a neodymium magnet like I'm going to use. I actually had a much weaker magnet when I first tested this, and it reacted as well. But let me show you with a neodymium magnet, as I bring this up to the piece, boom. And I am talking about this. Look at this. Look at how heavy this is. Look at this. I can drag this around. I mean, boom. Can you believe that? This, and the iron is not in the formula for diopside. It is only as an impurity creating the star, but there's so much of it. So much iron impurity, I can't even get it, in this, that it is drawn to a magnet even, and drawn in a very strong way. Boy, if someone was trying to sell you a star sapphire and you did this to it, and as a matter of fact, the ring I actually inherited recently from my father, here is a black star sapphire. You can see the 6-ray stars, and right now we'll see if it makes a liar out of it. Nope, no reaction whatsoever. The diopside, wow, you can't even get it to shake loose. So that is something very few people have ever seen or known about, let alone have the property demonstrated to them. And you just saw it done right here. That, I think, in this ring, if you want something really cool, really different, you have a 4-ray star that is not at 90-degree angles. The 4 rays make it different. The symmetry of the star being not 90 degrees is different. The fact that what creates the star being magnetite is different, and the fact that it is so much magnetite, which is the most magnetic mineral on Earth, is really different. Surrounded by white sapphires, that really makes this piece. I set this ring up, and if you want to know, now this part is the metaphysical part. Of course, the metaphysical things attributed to gemstones, my little disclaimer, is, purely for informational and purposes only. But for those that enjoy knowing what things have been attributed to it, diopside is thought to bring out creativity. It's thought to re-energize the body, soul, and mind, and also adds physical healing due to the magnetic force of the stone. So, lots of magic going on in that piece. Oh, let me show you. Here was the little weak magnet I had, and so in case you don't have a neodymium magnet, if you have just a weak magnet, look at that. I mean, that's pulling it across right there. So that's even sticking to it. Look at that. So, yeah, that's how strong the magnetic pull. Look at that. That is, to me, a really cool stone for those reasons. You know how I like different optical properties, not only optical properties, but physical properties of gems outside the norm. That certainly has them. Price on this one, the gold mounting adds to it, and the white sapphires add a tremendous cost to the piece, but I have discounted deeply what those are. They were originally $300 a carat. I remember, and that was a wholesale cost. That's what those stones cost me. There's approximately 2 carats of sapphires, so that is $600. Now, granted, if we used diamonds, it would have cost her a lot more, but $600 was my cost in those sapphires at the time. I would and this is over 20 years ago. I would imagine that they would be considerably more now. Price on this entire ring I have made at a really discounted value, only $778. $778. Lucky sevens, lucky eights in this, and magical properties, and also magical metaphysical properties attributed to it due to the magnetism. And you know what? Wouldn't that be a fun ring to, well, they always say a great bar joke or bar gimmick. And you certainly could, with your ring, people not knowing that it was had magnetic properties in it, because it's not even magnetite. But no one would know that it's actually magnetite in that stone. And you could make all kinds of paper clips and all move around on a white piece of paper from underneath. No one would ever know. I can think of all kinds of things, at least, to get a couple free beers out of the deal, But a lot of fun in that ring. That's one of those pieces of jewelry that you can literally have fun with. Okay. Yep. Let me pick up a couple items. I'm going to be right back. All right. Look at this. This is really neat. Of course, I think I talked about this last week about Man on the Moon. Do you call it Man on the Moon, or you call it Moon Face? The carving, I don't know. Either way, we all know what it references, and basically the Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon, or yeah. If you actually do look at the moon, because of the large craters, it does look like a moon, but it's a moon in a relief, in a side profile, it looks like. Or a person in a side profile. Anyway, this is a neat piece. Look at that. Solid silver, a large bale, wonderful blue topaz, and a great quality lapis with a very neat carving. And you know what? Here, I'm going to sale price this one. It's even less than the deal I already had on it. So let's make it only $38. I mean, you know what? Here we go. Let's do this. Let's make it $34. $34, and that should find somebody that wants something really different, unique, and yeah, very cool piece. A lot of silver to it. Let me change the price here so I know I discounted this, and take advantage of it. Okay, now, next. let's do a little run like we used to do in the old days on some different gemstones. And in this case, a run is usually one of the same type. It's going to be peridot. We're going to prep you for August birthstone. And peridot has become a really popular color from something that wasn't so popular. And now, wow, everybody really appreciates the color. I do too. Peridot is a gem that belongs to the olivine family. It is, the family ranges from the phaolite, which is an iron silicate oxide, to forsterite. There's no fluorescence, it's not magnetic, it cannot be synthesized, and there's nothing else like it. So in this first representation, it's item 110, 26, 23. 110, 26, 23, and look at this. Look at the cutting of these stones. I'll show them to you. Look at them. Look at how beautifully matched they are. And wow. I think I'll just leave them in there. I'll just leave them in there. No point in taking them out. You can see them just as well here. Nice, clean. Now, when I was using my site I use as a price reference, it's a discount gemstone site. And when I was looking up diopside, which told me how fair it was, the diopside was as inexpensive as it should be. Things like the amethyst and the peridot, I fainted and fell down when I saw how much this material is going for. Now, I didn't list an origin because I actually don't know exactly. But in the world of peridot, a lot of it comes out of China. Then the better stuff can come out of Pakistan and Burma. There's also wonderful color peridot that comes out of course, Arizona. And but some of the colors can overlap one to the other, so it's not something I could exactly say where it's from. All I can say is these are really well cut. They're 5 millimeter, 8 karat total weight, and I'm offering the entire parcel for only $56. That's 14 stones, so that's $4 each. So if you average that out, 56 for the parcel. Now, if you take it by carat weight and 56, that's only $7 a carat. When I was referencing how much a carat they were asking for this material and what it figured out to, it was well beyond that. And they weren't even cut that nicely. So peridot is a magnesium silicate. Pretty simple formula, just magnesium, silicate, and oxygen, and that's all it's, you know. But you can find, you know, peridot, including olivine, in even stones from space. It is a stone that can be brought up from deep within the earth, and is a very stable stone, like I said, by way of other characteristics. No fluorescence. It's very, there's a large birefringence. In other words, it has a, if you look into it, one of the ways to tell natural peridot, you can see the back facets are double, just kind of like blue zircon. So you have a very doubly refractive gem, and that also helps, of course, define and how you tell when you have a genuine peridot. So now, next I have item 11-0-21-23. 11-0-21-23. Now, these I am going to take out and show you because these get into bigger stones. Now, there are peridots, larger peridots are rare and then can become quite valuable. in the bigger stones. Peridot often has inclusions. So when you have a stone that doesn't or has very few, you have something of rarity. All right, look at this. Oh, look at that, an incredible cut. Now, when you get into these color greens, these are the ones that get a little bit more confusing as to origin, because that's getting closer to where the desirability for color in the other, from the other countries closer approaches this color. But this is a really nice trillion. It's a clean stone, a carat 82, and I have this at a discounted opportunity. It's a carat 88, and it's $16. I kid you. I kid you not. I have Latif here next to me, and of course Latif has faceted stones. He knows how long something like that would take to cut. And you know, not only would you have to buy the material and then to cut it and do it, you know, for $16. Not going to happen here in the United States, is it, Latif? I don't think you'd be working for you know, a couple bucks an hour on doing that. Next item, 11/0/2023, and instead of doing these in a parcel, I decided to offer them individually to give more people a chance to get in on these, because if you if I put it all, I have 3 trillions I'm offering. So if I put them all together and one person bought the entire parcel, then which easily should be done because of the way they're priced, then only one person would be able to take advantage. All right, look at this. Here's another stone. Look at that color green. That is the green that is a valuable color. It's a much more valuable color than the greens that have more yellow. The ones with more yellow and less green become less valuable. Now, this particular one goes over 2 carat, 2.12 carat. It is a full 8 millimeter. Price on this one, oh my, is only $18. That's $9 a carat. I know, Latif is going, what? And to be that clean. Like I said, Peridot often has little inclusions in them. Look at that. Yeah, Latif, I think that's just a little too cheap. But wow. Okay, now the third stone, item 11/0/2123, and let's see here. Here we go. This is the now these trillions were actually all in one ring, but the ring, I asked Raven and if, you know, because she sees and does so many shows, she actually has a great opinion as to whether certain items would be a seller or not, and she did not think the ring would be a seller. So I took the stones out, and you get to buy them individually. This is a carat 82, 7.7 millimeters, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than the others, even though they were all in a ring as like the same size. But another really nice clean stone, and price on that guy should be, yep, is the $16 as in the other one was. Only one over 2 carat, you had to pay extra $2 for it. 3 fantastic opportunities at very well cut natural stones that, of course, the Peridot family or Peridot in general is a very popular stone now, and only a few sources really are producing it. Let's look at item number 11/0/3123. And this is a parcel. I don't think I'm going to take them out because they're going to make a mess. But you can see you have round stones. There we go. Look at all that info Asa was able to put up for you. So 6x4 emerald cuts. Then you have round cuts at 2.8 millimeters. And then let's see, the additional stuff here is 5.50 carat total weight. He has that on there as well. And so look at that. This entire parcel, including the smaller rounds and the big ones, can you believe it? 5.50 carat, the entire parcel for only, make sure I get this right, $18. I know, Latif. Yeah, you came down here at the wrong time when I'm in my sell items too cheap mode. So we'll see just how wise all of our people are. Now, gemstones, you don't have to necessarily know what to do with them, or you don't have to do anything with them. You can just enjoy them in a display box like I have and so many other people do. It's just nice to get them out and look at them and feel like you're a treasure hunter or a pirate, and you know, this is your loot. You know, all the bounty that pirates had, they didn't have it made up into jewelry. They just enjoyed it in the treasure chest looking at it. Well, that's kind of what I enjoy with the gems as well. Just enjoy the possession of them, the looking at them, and knowing that these are wonderful treasures that came from within the earth. Kind of neat. Now, this next parcel I have is, let me keep up with the time, it's going to get away from me, is one of those ones I think, I don't know if anyone saw it or not. It's the item number 1107-323. 1107-323. And probably one, but yeah, you don't? It's fairly recent. Let me make sure I'm reading that number right. Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry, Asa. Let's see. That's 11. Wow, I really blew it. How about 1097-323? Okay, that's the one it is. Oh. Hold on. Yeah, why is 1097323? That's what it says there too. Maybe that's why I didn't show it, because, hold on, let me remove that item. I have a mixed, let's see. Yeah, you're right. Mine, I have that totally messed up. Oh, wait. And then, it says with the other stones at the end of it, right? You have with gem parcel with citrine, blue topaz, amethyst? Huh? Do you have 14.50 carat total weight? Do you see the rest of the stuff? Okay, do you see 14.50 carat total weight? Okay, then it's the right one. 109. Yep, 732. So we'll go with that. 7323. You'll see it in a second. Okay. Yep. Maybe that's why no one else has seen it before and why it hasn't sold yet. Here's the rest of the info down here so that everyone can see it, so you know what it is. It is on the information you'll get if you purchase it. So 19 stones. The garnets we're referencing just in general because they were probably the most valuable stones here. All right, look at all these matching stones. These came out of a bracelet that I didn't think that you'd want, but you'd want the stones. Look at all these. Wonderful blue topaz, peridot, almandine garnet, amethyst, citrine. This entire parcel of gems, 14.50 carat total weight, and excellent opportunity And I am, let's see, 14.50 carat. I tell you what, let's do something really inexpensive on this and kind of silly. So if we did this at either at let's see, there's 19 stones. $3 a stone would make it $57. How about this? Let's make this only $48 for the entire parcel. Wow, $48. So you're looking at 14.5 carats. That's just a little over $3 a carat. My. That is, again, a really good opportunity, and one that if you want something really special and a whole lot of different stones, remember, you can always give these things as gifts. If anybody in the gem or mineral business, wow, you know, they would, at the prices that they would have to pay for these things versus what you paid, they would think on this one that it would have been at 14.50 carat, a really good deal would be $5 a carat, which would be, you know, $75. You know, more likely, $8 a carat would be more like an average you could pay for something like those. And the neat thing, they all match, so someone could make up matching earrings, etc., because there's pairs to them. All right, let me show you. I have okay, let's get into this. Oh, more goods that you haven't seen. Item 1102-523. 1102-523. Now, several of you wanted that large garnet that I offered last week, and I knew that was going to get scooped up, or it should have, as inexpensive as I priced that beautiful, beautiful stone. Well, it came out of a mounting. I took it out of a mounting because I didn't think that you'd like the mounting, but you would probably like the loose stone. Same thing could be the case with this next garnet, except I left it in the mounting. Let me show you. This is a great ring. Look at the size of that garnet. And let me... Checkerboard cut. They're often checkerboard cut items to disguise, and it does work, inclusions in a stone. Well, this one, actually, look at that. There isn't any, so they really didn't need to do the checkerboard cut. It's a nice cushion cut, and there is little white sapphires along the edge. You can, they're down in there, they're down in the sides there. Wow, look at that color in that garnet. And then look at how well made this ring is. Nice thick shank on it. And I'll just, it's men's or ladies. There it is on my hand. Wow, look at that color, really showing up well. So, it's going to be so inexpensive that if you wanted to take the garnet out and do whatever you want, put something else in it with the sapphires around it, cut another stone for those of you like Harry or Anthony or Elisa that, you know, want to mess with the mounting, or put something else in it, why not? Look at that. Options, definitely have options, because the entire ring, let me put this on here, is going to be only, wow. Okay, let me write this down so I can believe it. Put it in my own handwriting. Here we go. I don't want to see this again. I want to see this sold. So let's make it only $77. Only $77. And that garnet, the weight, of course, is just estimated. And I always estimate it low. So 10 carats for a 14 by 12. Garnet is a heavy specific gravity, so it could easily be more than that. If you want a large garnet and just want it loose, take it out of the mounting. What you're buying is pretty much scrap on the silver and a good inexpensive deal on the garnet. And plus you get some little white sapphires thrown in there as extras. Now, let me show you. This next item, I had to quickly bring it in before the Raven claimed it for hers, but she doesn't need it. She just wanted to wear them. She said, let me just wear them. Yeah, that's where it starts, and then I never see them back. Okay, this is something I've actually never seen in any show here. Okay, it's item 1102723, 1102723. Now, part of the reason being is we often only sell certain price points, and this is below those price points. But the concept of using gemstones instead of, upstairs we'd find them in diamonds and in platinum. But down here in this show, excuse me, I'm gonna make myself laugh or cough or one. We have, you find things in sterling silver. Look at this, in and out earrings done in peridot. Look at these. These are actually gorgeous. These are actually really attractive. And I can see why Raven wanted to claim her hands on them. So in and out earrings, for those of you that aren't familiar with them, so when you wear your earring, you can see these also have the really nice clips that are easy to deal with. So you put them in your ear, of course, and so then as people look forward at you, you can see the peridot in the front, and then, of course, as the earring turns, you see the peridot back on the inside. So hence the in and out name to them, which I see Asif didn't include after all the work I went through to create it as a subject title. I'm just messing with them. It doesn't take words to be able to see what these are. But if you wear them around the other way, it doesn't work. You end up with a bunch of holes. So turn them the right way, in and out earrings. The only pair of sterling silver peridot in and out earrings, or put it this way, in and out earrings of gemstone and sterling silver of any kind of stone that I've seen. Nicely made. They are really nicely made. And so, yeah, take advantage of them, because I have these specially priced, real specially priced, at only $77 for the pair. Not sure why I would even offer them that inexpensive, but they're only a deal if you take advantage of them. So take advantage of them. And $77, remember, earrings you have to buy two. So what can sound expensive is because you're multiplying something times two. The reality of it is this one earring is $38.50. So when you look at that for $38.50, that sounds real inexpensive, and it is. Look at that. If you know anybody with an August birthstone, you couldn't give them a better, more unique gift they would find no place else except right here and at Gem Shopping, with all the unusual shows that you get to see here. The fun, I'm in a box here that you're gonna love. You're gonna love. We'll see how far we get. The next item, 1103023. Okay, 1103. Whatever the rest I said. Oh my goodness, Shawn. Go to I have to go to so many doctors. 1103-023. Okay, this, it's an inexpensive item, but it is something that is one of the oldest and most popular gems in the world, going back to times of antiquity. And this is genuine. What I am going to show you is true, real spiderweb turquoise from the American West. So much turquoise is howlite, is dyed, is resin, is impregnated, is polymered, is epoxied, is so treated that you don't know what you're getting. The only way you know what you're getting is to get it from someone who knows what they're selling. And that would be me. And I guess that's where Miss Cindy said the comment about my, you know, it's worth looking up because the, here it is. Therefore, I never thought of you as snarky, just sure of your knowledge. Therefore, confidently opinionated. I like that. Confidently opinionated. And my confident opinion is this is genuine spiderweb turquoise. Now, let's go in as far as we can. All right. One of the things that you look for in genuine turquoise is you look for imperfection. You look for things imperfect. And this was what the piece I was talking to Raven about and giving her a hard time and teaching her along the way as to determining what made this genuine. And so she started looking at it. She goes, well, it has pits. I said, is that good or is that bad? This is the way I never give her a straight answer. I give her the education so she can give me the answer. So she goes, well, I would think that if they were making something that was fake, that they would make it perfect without the imperfections. I said, exactly. So you see the pits in here? You actually want the pits to be in there. That's something good. That's something that all of a sudden, okay. The other thing, when they go to dye them, when there's imperfections, such as any kind of little lines in the material, any kind of these little holes, the dye concentrates in those areas. When you look at the surface of this and see all the same even color without there being any lines of concentrated color, then you know it hasn't been dyed. With these openings here, you know it hasn't been filled or impregnated with a resin because it would have filled these holes and then they actually repolish it. So those wouldn't be there. Then here is something that you just need to see and look at turquoise enough to know. You see this shape? Okay, see the black? The black can often be different oxides, like manganese oxide, you know, different kinds of metal oxides. So don't get caught up with the black so much. The most valuable turquoise is actually turquoise that does not have the black, but a lot of people like true spiderweb. This is true, genuine spiderweb, which is actually very hard to find. Okay, but these little nodules, these little shapes, I'm not going to call them circular because they're not, and it's important that the fact that they're not, but the little pockets of where the turquoise would have filled in with the black veining around it. It is the shape of these little spherical type of forms that you see that tells me that it's genuine turquoise. They haven't made a synthetic or an impregnated turquoise yet that can replicate those shapes. They have to start with something that way already. This is a really nice polish, and it should be able to take a nice polish, but there should also be areas of difference of hardness, and you have that in this piece as well, where it's a nice polish, but it's not it's not polished perfectly even, because the black will be softer and it will undercut. It'll cut at a different speed than the rest of it. I like the cut to this. It's got kind of a center domed area. Look at how well made the silver is, and I love this. Look at that. That's adjustable in size, so you can just bend this in with any kind of pliers and just bend it in until the size it fits you, or open it up. This is a men's or ladies ring, and it was a real tempting to keep it myself. But you've seen I already have another turquoise ring, but to be honest, not as nice as this one. But since we're talking about this, I am going to show you. I've been meaning to show you for 3 weeks now. I only found this since we moved. I rediscovered it since everything got moved around. Not that we moved, but since the furniture got moved around and everything. And I rediscovered 2 rings that I made when I was 15 years old. Now, I didn't completely do all the silver work, but I cut the stone and set it and assisted with the silver. I was 15. We're looking at 47 years old now. All right, so we look at that for a moment, but this was my first turquoise ring that I had. Remember I said I worked it with the silversmiths when I was 15, and so we did in Sarasota, Florida, a lot of turquoise work. And this would have been a nice stone. It was totally genuine at the time, and you can see by the different colors that fact. Now, this at the top is going to be caused by oil. That is going to be where oil absorbed into the turquoise, because remember, turquoise that's genuine hasn't been treated or sealed, and that's why turquoise over time turns green, because it absorbs body oils, even the oils from your body. I'm not sure how that occurred. It could have occurred even from what I was storing it in, but a simple polish could polish that back out, depending on how deep it is, but I'm sure it's not very deep. But look at that. So you have epoxy glue in there, because I didn't set things very well back then, and you can see glue around the edge. So a little bit of cheater's jeweler's help there. 15 years old, but wait, there's just one more, and my favorite stone. Turquoise birthstone for December, and opal. Look at this. Now, this opal is not just any opal. It's actually Honduran. It's a Honduran opal when I was 15. So I had to have them help me set this at the time, but I cut the stone and helped. Yeah, well, because it was an opal, and I really wanted to protect the stone, I got a little carried away with the design. And yes, it's not the most attractive, but when you're 15, this open work weave like that is really easy to do with wires, and that's what I did. I actually made this mounting. The other one I didn't. I had less to do with. But there you go. You can see that opal is different, right? It has a different look, and that's because it is not Australian. This was long before Ethiopian was ever discovered, and very few people even have seen a genuine white Honduran opal. A lot of Honduran opal is treated like a black, it's like a black matrix opal, like the Andamuca material. But yeah, so here we go. It was neat to rediscover those, and of course, they wouldn't be for sale. Now, my son wouldn't much appreciate them, so I don't know what I'll do with them, but I'll enjoy them for now. All right, so back to the silver ring, and did I give you a price on it yet? It is certainly going to be a lot less than it should be. Price on that guy, here we go, $68. Only $68, the real deal. you can see what a beautiful, that's actually, if you remove the black, that's actually a robin egg blue color, which all the turquoise manuals say is the most desirable and valuable color in turquoise world. All right, only have moments. I don't think I've gotten to everything here that I had brought in to show you that you haven't seen before. Let's look at this next item. This is item 1103-323. And what a fun piece here, because not too many people gonna have one of these. Look at that cute little guy. Malachite duck. It actually has some kind of stone that they've polished flush with as an eye. Not sure, but it could be replaced. Put something else in it. $8. $8 for that guy. So I'm sure that will be sold for that. And let's see, as the clock ticks down, what I want to get in front of you. I didn't get to nearly what I wanted to, but that's all right. There's always another week. Let me show you this next, let me show this. Here we have a fun piece of jewelry, and it's item 1097-523. 1097-523, and look at this. This is, wow, what a colorful ring. All kinds of wonderful, genuine stones, and a very reasonable price. And so how about this? Let's go ahead and sale price this one. Make it $28. $28, there you go. How, well, that's just beyond inexpensive. And what a fun, look at that. It's very well made. Wow, that's just a beautiful ring. And if you, for those of you that can do any kind of prong work or anything, pull the prongs back on the center stone and use that shape as a template to custom cut like an opal. An opal would look fantastic in it. All right, I think the clock is about to run out on me. The other items I wanted to show you would take a little bit more time than I have. So let me call it quits there, and I'll be right back with the trivia question. Okay. So, I'm going to say it myself, another great show. I just always enjoy, I guess it's a sense of camaraderie. With Dave and Asif here, we've been a team for so long that with all of you added, if it was just the three of us, without me and talking to all of you, there just wouldn't be as much humor. I think that the camaraderie is included because we feel that all of you are like you're in the audience watching, and it's part of the Three Stooges. Okay, I'll speak for myself. The One Stooge. And I don't know, I've as so many of you have said, that you actually love and enjoy Asif as part of the rest of us. Dave, he's kind of quiet, but you commented that you wish Asif would join in more. I do too. I think, I always thought that Asif would make a great host. He certainly could have the knowledge far exceeding, well, other hosts, and has certainly heard presentations that gives you that knowledge on a level far beyond any number of presentations I've done personally. He has heard all of them put together. Golly, you know, he could calculate it. How many shows a day, how many different hosts, times the 4 years he's been here, 5 years. I don't think that's a number he probably actually even wants to figure out. But the number of the knowledge he could, yeah, it's there. It's there. And to still have a sense of humor after putting up with so many situations and problems. Remember, he is the director of production. And, you know, for a lot of you who just watch me, you think that that might be a small thing. No, I'm the small thing. The rest is the huge thing. He's in charge of every show, all the support staff for the show, all the content that is produced on the for the internet, for the social media, all that stuff. He has the largest staff under any individual person here. So there's a lot to it. So for him to feel comfortable and actually to have any sense of humor is a really good thing, but a rare thing. And I'm glad that this show somehow, through your comments, through my idiocy, anyway, pulls out some really great zingers from him. And yeah, I love to laugh. And so when certain people make you laugh, it even becomes more meaningful. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly did. I didn't get to show you as many items as I wanted to. I wanted to get to some mineral specimens that I wanted a sale price. I mean, some good stuff. A lot of the inventory, I think I told you the other week, when the mitigation crew came in, and then the crew that comes in and wraps your items up, I thought we had kept out some of the items. But no, they came in, and before I turned my head, remember I told you a lot of the items I get for the show, I literally walk around our house and I pick them off, you know, the credenza, off of a windowsill, off of, you know, the cocktail table, the end tables, and Raven knows every single one that's missing. I even try to hide it and move the pieces back around and cover up the dust that reveal where they sat. But no, she doesn't miss a beat. So they packed up a bunch of our inventory. They didn't know it, and before I knew it, boom. So, but in the process, I found some other things, just like those 2 rings. I mean, I knew that they were somewhere in the house. Could I have put my hand on them? No. But when they appeared, and it was actually the help, the people that came in that showed them to me, they said, oh, these, and to them, of course, they were rings, and to me, it's like they were rings times history. And I said, oh, I've been looking for those. So anyway, I'm glad I got to show them to you because they brought back a lot of memories for me. Okay, trivia. Making it kind of easy, I think. At least one of the questions. You guys have gotten really good. So again, I encourage everybody to participate. Not just in, you don't have to answer the trivia. You can just write a comment. Just write any kind of comment. Say you enjoyed the show. Just get in. And remember, even if you get anything wrong, you still get your name, or get close to being right. You get your name in the hat for a prize. So give it a shot. Once you do it the first time, then you get into the spirit of things, and everybody did really well. Everybody did really well. Okay, question number 1. What group does peridot belong to? So if you were listening closely, I mentioned that. I mentioned that there is a, like amethyst belongs to the quartz group. Or, I'm trying to think, aquamarine belongs to the beryl family, the beryl group. So, peridot belongs to what larger mineral group? All right, question number 1. Question number 2. What mineral creates the star in star dioxide? Now, it's not a who's buried in Grant's tomb question, but it should be certainly easy enough. What mineral creates the star in dioxide? Now, that answer and that question is something that you can go and ask. Go to a gem show and go and ask if you just want to test somebody's knowledge or someone that thinks they're knowledgeable, and see if they know it. I mean, you don't have to call them out, and if they're wrong, then you don't have to even say they're wrong. You just know that they will be wrong. But if you certainly wanted to prove your case, if you're right, well, I'm not going to tell you that because I don't want to give away my question. But the answer is very easy to prove that you're correct. Okay, that said, I hope all of you have had a fantastic week. Again, happy Valentine's Day, a little late to all of you ladies out there. And may the warmth of your heart be fulfilled this coming year in the way that you wish it to be. And that'll make you feel the most loved. And I know that I love all of you. And I know Asif, he has that same kind of love. We tell each other we love each other, and we do, because it's that human love. And there needs to be more of that between all of us. And so from all of us to all of you, we love you, and we really appreciate you being there and supporting this show as you have, and hopefully will continue to do so. God bless you, and I'm going to see you next Monday.